This conference will now be recorded.
So in previous session, we started off with the understanding of literals. Then we have also understood the integer based data types. In today's session, we will be going to the other aspects of other remaining data types. So in integer based data types, we have understood them as whether the data type is two-state data type or four-state data type, whether is it what is the size of the data type, whether it is inherent nature, is it signed or unsigned data type. Then we discussed about whether it is coming from Verilog or added in system Verilog, all those things. Let's say if I declare int a, can you tell me what is the value of a? If I do $display of a, what is the value I'm going to get?
0 set 0 by default 0.
It will be 0, right? Same thing if I declare integer a, it will give me what value?
X unknown.
It will give me x value. So that is where whenever you declare any variable as int, you don't have to worry about initialization. So the point is what? Anytime we declare an int variable, we don't worry about initialization because it is already starting with 0 value. It already starts with 0 value, whereas when you declare something as integer, we need to initialize it to 0. So the same thing applies for bit variables also. Bit b, if I write, it will be default is 0, whereas I write logic b, it will be default value will be x. So all those things we have discussed. Then we have also discussed the difference between time and real time. So various variables, okay. Two-state, four-state variables, signed, unsigned, time, real time, int, short int. Now we'll go to the next data type, that is void. The term void refers to a no data type. Void is used to refer to no data type. Okay. One of the example where we use void is used for function with no return data. Let's say we don't want to return anything from a function. Typically, how do we declare a Verilog function? We declare it as function return data type and the function name and the arguments end function. This is how we declare. But there are times where function doesn't have anything to return. In those cases, how do you declare this? That because you don't want to return integer, you don't want to return a string, you don't want to return anything. So how do you tell that I don't want to return anything? So for that purpose, what you use is void. If you don't want to return anything, so that indicates that there is no return data type here. So function void print, this function does not return any value. Use void, no need of return statement. If you use void, then you don't need to return anything. Similarly, assert, when we do assert packet dot randomize, I mean, you remember in one of the sessions previously I've used the concept of assert to check whether this condition is passing or failing. Assert is like a if condition, checks if randomization happened successfully or not. See, when we are calling packet dot randomize, we are randomizing the fields of the packet by calling pkt dot randomize. Now pkt dot randomize returns 1 if it is successful, if it is able to randomize the packet. It returns 0 if it is not able to randomize. So the assert will check whether that has happened properly or not. So if this returns 1 means assert will give success message. If it returns 0 means randomization has failed, assert will give the failure message. So if we want to ignore whether randomization passed or failed, let's say we don't worry whether whatever is the outcome, instead of assert we use void there. Void tick packet dot randomize. Whatever is the output, it is being static casted to void, no data type. By using void, we are ignoring the randomized function outcome. In this case, using void is not a good programming practice. Use assert, because even though I have used void, in general cases you should not do, because by doing that you are telling that I am ignoring the outcome, whether it randomization passes or fails. I am ignoring by using void. So that is the wrong practice. I'm just showing you how void can be used if at all you want to use. There are two concepts you need to learn here. In this example, two concepts to learn. One is when we write assert anything, if anything means any expression returns 1 as the output, it's a assertion will print success message. If returns 0 means, if anything returns, anything evaluates to 0, here also evaluates to 1. Assert prints failure message. In the same context, when I pass pkt.randomize, see, randomize is a function. It returns 1 if it is success, it returns 0 if it is a failure. So in that case, when I write void tick packet.randomize, what you are telling is whatever is the output of randomize, you are casting it into void format, mean converting 1 or 0 to void format. Essentially we are telling that ignore the outcome, it doesn't matter what happens, ignore the output, output. So in those cases we use void. And I told you that this is not something you want to do. You generally want to check whether it is passing or failing. So in that case, assert would be the right thing. I just showed void, that this is one of the possibilities in which it can be used. Next. Okay, this is just an example. Module top. You see, this is how you write a function, right? Function integer add, return a plus b. So you are returning two integers, a plus b. You're returning integer, so hence return type is integer. Let's say you don't want to return anything, you just want to display it, so then you don't have anything to return, right? I am not returning anything here, hence return type is void. If you don't return anything, return type should be void. Like this, various examples can be there where you don't want to return anything. Next, let us go to the another data type, that is string data type.
Sir?
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, if we do not write anything return type, any return type, sir, by default it will be, sir, void.
By default it will be void. Yes. No, it requires us to write something. If you just do without anything, it gives error as per me. Function dot sp. Let's try that once. Function print. No, it takes void as the default thing. That is correct. Module top in module function print. It takes void. Implicitly
telling
taking void.
implicit void. Yeah, implicit void cast.
These red messages, please ignore. It is something related to the my operating system or a arbitrary error. You can ignore that part of it, but it is printing sample message. Okay.
Yes, sir, it's telling that we are converting implicitly void.
Void, yeah. Okay. So now we will move to the next data type, string data type. If you see in Verilog, we don't have any string data type. In system Verilog, a string data type is introduced. String is variable sized, dynamically allocated array of bytes. String is dynamic data type, means what does it indicate? Dynamic data type, we can increase the
No
size of
fixed type.
we can decrease the size, we can delete the string memory altogether. While storing in memory, all characters of string are converted to byte values, ASCII value, and 1 byte is used for each ASCII character. So that is how internally it will be stored. String size can be increased, decreased, or can be deleted at runtime. That is why string is a dynamic data type. Resizing happens automatically, no need to use new. See, string is one exception where you don't have to use new and still you can increase and decrease the size. So I told you, right, earlier I have told you that for all dynamic data types we have to use new. So string is one exception. String is an exception where we don't need to use new constructor to allocate memory. That means, as if you declare string name, let's say you give name equal to Verilog, it automatically allocates 7 spaces, 7 character spaces for name. Internally it will be taking 7 into 8, 56 bits. Can someone tell me how did I come up with number 56 here?
For one character, 1 byte, sir. 7 byte. 7 into 8,
So
56 bit.
one character, 1 byte is taken, so there are totally 7 characters, right? So if I can go and rename this to name equal to system Verilog. Again, it automatically allocates, it automatically resizes to how many characters in this case?
14, sir. Taking 1 space.
14 characters for name. So that is why we call it as dynamic data type. And the one thing you should have noticed is I never did name equal to new. I didn't do name equal to new. This is not required. This is how you declare my name str1, str2. This is wrong. See, string double quote str2 you should not do. Only for assigning the values you should do. Like you see, name equal to Verilog I should do, but name itself should not be declared inside the double quotes. Those things wrong. Only to assign values we should use double quotes. Next, as I told you before, every construct in system Verilog comes with pre-implemented methods. So in this slide we will talk about those pre-implemented methods associated with the string data type. All string methods are functions. All the methods in string are functions. Let us write down what all methods are there. Length. What do you think length should do? Can you tell me? Everything you are going to
length of a word.
Returns the number of characters in string. Okay. Put C. What do you think it should do?
Put the character to the string.
Put character to the string.
New character.
Yeah, put a character into the string. Get C, what should it do?
Extract a character from a string.
Get a character from string at a specified location. Here also put a character into the string at a specified location. Other than that, to upper, what do you think it should do?
It will
Convert the lowercase letters into uppercase.
Convert all characters to uppercase. To lower, what it should do?
Convert the lower cases, all the upper cases into lower cases.
Lowercase, right? Compare, what should it do? Compare all the characters, right? Basically compare two strings. It will compare two strings. It takes two strings as input and it will compare them. What does I compare should do?
Index comparison.
It will be case sensitive.
Basically case insensitive comparison with case insensitive. Means even if something is uppercase, lowercase, it still will match those characters. Okay, we will discuss these two are little.
This comparison happens based on ASCII value.
Based on ASCII value, yes. We will discuss. See, this compare and I compare are little involved. I mean, they are not straightforward as they look. We will do that example, and through that example we will understand. Frankly speaking, these two are not very important methods. You can ignore them. At time to time I will be telling where you should be focusing more and which topic you can ignore, because there is a very little chance that you will be working with compare and I compare kind of functions during your project work. So if you you understand, right? My point is, system Verilog is a very vast language. Given that, we need to figure out where we need to put our most of our energy and where we are okay to ignore also. But having said that, I am not going to miss the topic. I will be covering everything. But when you prepare, do not give lot of importance to compare and I compare. Don't spend one full day just to learn what is compare and I compare does, because there are a lot more other important things in system Verilog to learn. Okay. Then other than that, what does substring will do? Substr means returns a substring from the string. Like you can tell, from this you return only these many characters. You can tell starting from 6th position to 9th position, return the string. Next, A to real. What does it do? ASCII to real conversion function. I to A, what do you think it will do?
Integer to ASCII.
Integer to ASCII conversion. Again, I would like to tell, string methods are not very significant for you. As I've told you, I'll be doing all these things with thorough examples, but please do not spend a lot of time on this, because there are a lot of other important things: object-oriented programming, polymorphism, encapsulation, inheritance, interfaces, where you need to put more of your energy rather than spending a lot of time here. Just get a top level feel of how to declare a string, how to get the length, and how to at top level how to use this method. That much is sufficient. Okay, let's now go into the individual methods. Let's say length. What does it do? It returns the number of characters in the string. So for that, what I will do is I'll take string.sv example. I'll declare a module top end module. In this string name, let's say I call it, let's say initial, begin, end, name equal to VLSI, system Verilog. Thank you. I want to get the length of the string. So how to get the length of the string? So here what you need to think is, how do you think length will be returned? So length will be a number, right? Integer
Value.
Num, let's say. So I will say num equal to name dot length. Let's check this once. See, it is printing system Marilla. Wait, what are we printing? Name equal to, oh sorry, I printed
not
so it is giving the number of characters. So now where is that generally some people do mistake is they end up writing, instead of this they end up writing length name. This is one possible mistake you can do. This is wrong. It should be string name dot length. Always remember construct dot the method name. It's never method name inside the construct, you should not pass. Always the construct name dot length. Like that, there are many possibilities in which you can do mistakes. See, for example, you may do this also, name length dot num. Is this correct?
Sir,
Instead of
I think, sir,
keeping output argument, you are keeping it as return value, you are keeping as argument, output argument. Is it correct?
no,
It
sir,
is
I
not.
think, sir, length returns sir integer value sum.
Yeah, it should be basically length is a function, so it should be returning a value. Right? Next.
But if you use that in a display, it will work, right?
Please come again.
If just we use that name.length num, if you use in the display statement, it will work.
It will work because see here, if you write it is returning a value, that it will print in place of percentage 0. So you mean to say here we can write name dot length, it can be done. It is possible. Now someone has asked a question. Is there any method to get the array length or array size? So it depends upon what is the type of array we are talking about. If it is so if it is dynamic array, there will be a method length. If it is q, size method will be there. So for normal arrays it won't be there. For normal arrays there is no such method. Whereas for these kind of dynamic array and q, even for mailbox there is a method. We'll check that one. Mailbox, I'm not remembering. When we go to the mailbox, let's check that. But for other things, it is there. For static arrays, we don't have any such thing. Next. Let's go to the next method, that is put character. This is for length. Let's say somewhere I want to replace the 6th position, replace with T. Let's see. So name dot put C T, let's say 6. I'm also just trying. Basically, this order might be different. So that is where we need to know the prototype, the function prototype. See, first you have to pass the number followed by the character. So that is the mistake we are doing. So first I should pass the number where you want to put, then what character you want to replace it with. Then you $display it. After replace, after put C. See, the sixth space 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the sixth space, it replaced it with T. Space was there, it got replaced with the T. That is about put. So here the point is, you should know you should know the right uses of the method. See in which position you want to put and what is the character with which you want to put. See, any other way of using put C is wrong. Let's say you are doing str1 dot put C 10 comma C without double quotes, it's wrong, because second element should be a character. Even if you write, sometimes people might write str1 equal to put C 10 comma C. This is also wrong. Okay, so that you need to remember. Next, let us see what is get C. Tell me, what do you think get C should do? It gets the character.
Will extract the characters.
Get a
of the
character.
given.
To get a character, again you need to declare output and name output, something like this.
Directly
So you
print.
need to write name out equal to, because there is nothing like char data type in system Verilog. See, ideally speaking, you might have written char data type because you are getting one character. Output should have been a char data type, but there is no such thing. So you have to write string only. Even to get a character, you need to declare a string only. Name dot get C. Let's say I want to get 7th character. So what do you think name out will be? Can you tell me?
He will be there, sir.
Get C. Name out. Right. Assigning a packed. So again, we need to see what is the usage style. See, usage is also out equal to, out has to be byte. Okay, it returns a byte, not a string. It returns a byte. So you need to declare it as a byte. So whatever you want to return, you declare it as a byte. Then you print it as percentages. Let's see what. So it is returning V. It is returning the 7th character. So, but what you take it as, you get it as a byte instead of as a string. Then you display it as percentages. So it will print it equivalent ASCII character. Next, to upper. So you will write name underscore 1, name underscore 2, let's say. So name underscore 1 equal to name dot to upper. You see the uses. Since I know that this is a function, most of the time I will expect output to be a return value. Okay. To lower again will do. Let's say name 1 to lower. That is name 2. You dollar display name 1 and name 2. Okay, so that conversion also can be done. What else is there? One of the other things is compare and I compare. We will take these two examples, but before that, let's complete other things, because these two are little complex. The way the compare works itself is little different. Okay, someone is asking, put C is replacing a character. Do we have any method to insert the character? There is no method to insert the character. We have to use a for loop in that case. Let me take this question. Please read this, everyone. So the put C is replacing the character. Do we have any method to insert the character? As of now, string don't have any method to insert the character. Let us say I want to insert a character, insert a space at 6th position. Let's say to insert space at 6th index. So how to do that? Let's think over it. To insert space at 6th position. How can we do that? What we can do is name equal to name 1 or name 3. We'll go and declare name 3 here. Name 4, whatever you want to do. Name 3 equal to get a substring. Name 1 of name of. How to get a substring? There must be positions must be there. Okay, the positions are 0 to 5, name of 6 to, let's say, 15. Let's $display to insert name 3. Let's see. I did a mistake. It should have been dot substring. Substring, basically what we are doing is we are getting the substring from 0 to 5 position, substring from 6 to 15 position. So in between we are keeping a space. What is this overall operation does? Can you tell me that flower bracket, what does it do overall?
Concatenation.
It does concatenation. So name after insert is coming system. Wait. Space.
Index 6 change to 7.
6 to, please come again.
6 change to 7.
No,
Then only
no.
space will come.
15 is there, right? So basically my name has this, those many characters, right? I want to in between keep a space. That concatenation I want to do. Let's do one thing. Let's try one simple example where we are concatenating string concat dot sv module top and module string name 1, name 2, name 3. Let's say initial, begin, end. Name 1 equal to system, name 2 equal to Verilog, name 3 equal to name 1 comma name 2. Let's see if I do this and do $display. So it is doing concatenation. Concatenation is working fine. If I keep here, if I do this way, it is also working fine. That means, so here we are missing with this index probably. 15th index is probably wrong. 14, let's say, if I take. I should move back to the original file, right, for compilation purpose. So it's still giving me system name 3. substring 6 down to 14. How many indexes are there? Only 13.
There are
Okay.
14 indexes. Give
14. So
13,
it
sir.
should be up to 13 only. Yeah, that is
Yeah, 0 to 13.
0 to 13. Yeah. So it is inserting space in between. So earlier case, it was not returning anything. When we were giving wrong substring, it was not returning anything. Now it is returning. So this is how you can insert. As such, if you ask me the question, is there any method to insert? As of now, there is no method to insert into the string.
Sir,
Yeah.
is
Please
there
tell me.
any way that we give the starting index only and ending index up to the end of the string? Is there any way?
Let's see if it should be, if at all it has to be dollar. If dollar doesn't work, then there is no possibility. Yeah, we have to give the number only, specific number. So in that case, what you could have done is you could use the length. You should use len.
Length minus 1.
1. Yeah. Yeah, that you can do. Okay, you may say how to remove one character. Let's say I want to remove this T. How to remove it? I should know the position. It is at 6th, 7th position. It is at, right? Then again I have to go with the same thing. Remove a character at let's say at 7th index. So 0 to 6, 8th to name minus 1. It should have been done on name 3 because we are already working with name 3, right? The only problem is we are manipulating. We are manipulating name 3 and we are assigning to name 3. That's not the right practice. We should do it to name 4. I mean, whatever you are changing, the output should not be the same thing. It should be a new string. Okay, I got it. We shouldn't have added this space. This way you can remove the character also. So even though system Verilog doesn't provide, we can use the basic concatenation concepts and the substring concept to do all these things. Next, what is the other methods we have? A to real and I to A. Let's discuss about A to real. These are basically string conversion methods. A to real is convert ASCII to real format. ASCII string must consist of numbers only. I to A will do what? Convert integer to ASCII. Let's take one use case of A to real. Let's say one of the use cases, let's say we are reading a text file using $f open. Other file handling system functions. Let's say we have a text file which is like this. Let's say sample.txt is there. Something like this is there. When you read these numbers from the text file, it is going to read it. My Verilog code will read it as a string, not as a integer. It is going to read this 1, 2, 3, 4 as a string, not as an integer. So how do I convert this string 1, 2, 3, 4 into a number? So that is where ASCII to integer will come into picture. What it does is module top and module. Let's say we have string val equal to something. Let's say val, and I have integer num. Initial, begin, end. Let's say val is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's say first character you have read 1, 2, 3, 4. It is being read as a string. It is being read as a string. If I want to convert it into the equivalent value. See, it is 1234. But when you treat it as a string, it is not 1234. It is some ASCII characters, right? So how do you convert it? That is where you can write num equal to val dot a to real. You are converting ASCII to real value. Now, why is it real? Why is it real? Sometimes this can be a character, right? Something like this. There can be decimal positions also. In those cases, it will convert even these things into a real value. So you can now do $display num equal to %f num. We can do one more thing. We can take one more such example. Val equal to 1.2, let's say, and num1 equal to same thing. Num1 equal to convert that also. Now you write num2 just to show you that it does work. Num2 equal to num plus num1. You're adding both the numbers and you do $display of num2. It should ideally come what value? 1 2 3 4 plus 1, right? 1 2 3 5 plus 6 7 4. That's what it should come. String convert. One, 2, 3, 5, 8. It is rounding it off. ASCII to real must consist of numbers only. Convert ASCII to real format. It used to convert to real format. Declare value as int if you want to read as integer. Right. Let's do one thing. I mean, let's follow that guideline only. Let's declare as int. Or let's. I got it. It should have been real, right? In that case, because if you declare it as integer, it will round it off. So I should declare it as real number. If at all I have to read it as a real number. Otherwise, what it does, it'll round it off and it'll round off the other number also. Yeah.
Now coming, sir.
Now it's working, right? So it's a mistake of declaring it as integer.
If
So
there is space between numbers, that is 1 space, 2 space, so it will differentiate it, or what?
No, you can't just give anything. See, you can't just give anything. Say you can't give this and ask it to convert. It may not work. It may behave wrongly in that case actually. See, it ignored, right?
No,
It is
it's taking.
ignoring. So, like as I said, we are reading a text file using $f open and other file handling system function. Text file has some numbers. If we are using file handle, we will get number as ASCII characters, not as an integer. If you read something, it will read it as a ASCII string and not as integer format. So we can convert this number to integer format or real number format by using a to real. Right, that all things we have discussed. Then we have also discussed about string concatenation sometime back. String name1, name2, name3. String is like a bit vector. Essentially, it's like a bit vector. It can be used in concatenation. I have already shown you some examples how the concatenation happens. When I do this operation, name2, comma, 2 spaces and name3. Can you tell me when I concatenate, how many spaces will come between name2 and name3?
No space will come, sir, here, because we did not give any double quote here. It will simply concatenate.
Yeah, it will simply concatenate because during my compilation, these 2 spaces will be ignored because you did not give any double quote. Whereas here, 1 space will come. Space will be added in between. Here, what will happen? Can you tell me when I write \n?
Next line.
Characters.
It will come in the new line. It will come in the next line. Name3 will come in the next line. So let me just take this example. string concat something like this. Sorry, concat 1. Let me close other things. Concat 1. In this, what I'm doing is I have declared name 2 as system SV, name 3 as training. So I'm concatenating. So there, since I didn't give any spaces, even if you give any number of spaces, that spaces will be ignored. So my name 1 will come as SV training without any space in between them. Here one space will come. In this case, SV will come in one line, training will come in the next line because you have used a new line character here. This is called as \n is called as new line character. So you can see like this. SV is coming in one line, training is coming in new line. Okay. Now, what is the practical advantage? I mean, practical use cases of these kind of things. When you go to any company, when they generate the log report, right? They'll be displaying in some kind of special format. You see, whenever you join into any project, well, when the log file is reported or compilation is reported, they will give some kind of fancy heading using a string character, something like this. Some hashes will come here, hash will come here, hash will come here. So they will show that kind of some special report. So that's all can be done using these kind of things. I'll just show you one of the things that I have done in this. You can try similar things. Let's say if I take this one, all I'm using in all these cases tabs only, just tab spaces only I'm using, and let's see what it comes. String pattern .sv, just a pattern. Something like this, it comes a bottle kind of things, it comes. So now if you see there is some backslashes missing here, right? Backslash is missing, so you need to figure out where that backslash is missing, and you see some tabs are missing and some hashes are missing. So where is it missing? So I need to add how many hashes? 3 hashes, it will fill it. So go here, and how many backspaces I need to add? Sorry, backslashes, around 7. For every backslash, you need to add 2 backslashes, because to print 1 backslash, you need to keep 2 backslashes, because backslash itself is a special character. To print 1 backslash, you need to use 2 backslashes. You see, to get 1 backslash, I'm entering 2. I'm entering 2. I'm entering 2, 4, 5 totally, 6, 7. The same thing I need to do here also. I do now and run it. See, now it got filled. So essentially, basically, sometimes companies do this where they want to show the log file look fancy initially. In the top, they always should print something like that. Okay, I'm just showing you what is that you can do with the string method, and the using the tab spaces. What can be done is what I'm showing you. See, you're using the tab and the backslash. Using that, you're achieving all these things. Let me just replace it into my code here. So that is about okay. So even so what is that we need to understand in this case is the concept of special characters. Concept of special characters. So anytime you want to print new line, we need to use backslash n. To give a tab space, we need to give backslash t. To print backslash itself, what should I do?
2 backslashes.
2 backslashes I should use. To print forward slash, what should I do?
1 backslash, 1 forward slash.
backslash, one forward slash. Let's say to print double quote, one double quote I want to print. What should I do? Backslash double quote.
One backslash, one
double quote.
So you need to understand the concept of backslashes. Basically. Sometimes
so
you want
space, you need to keep, sir, one backslash, then one space, sir.
No, space can be printed as a space only, right? Space is not anything special, right?
Okay.
Okay, to print percentage, I think you have to use 2 percentages. Rest all, see, this is the only one exception. Rest all things will work with backslashes, but percentage is only one exception. You need to use double percentage. Let's just try that once. String percent special module top module initial begin end other display percentage equal to percentages, right? It is, you can write percentage. Let's see what comes. String special. Near, okay, let it be.
So we can directly display this.
One second. Yeah, you could have directly written percentage itself. Near, okay, unexpected percentage. Let's say if I write this one. End backslash. Wait, no, wait. Here itself, I could have written yeah, that is what I wanted to show. See, if you want to print a percentage, you have to print percentage. Okay, so that is about special characters in System Verilog. Now, before we move on, let us just cover that one topic that we didn't complete: compare and I compare. As the name itself suggests, they are used for string comparison purpose. In compare, it compares the 2 strings. I compare also compare the 2 strings, but ignore the upper and lower case in the compare. Compare and I compare, this is very important actually. Compare and I compare returns int as the output, not a bit. They don't return bit, they return int as the output, int data type. If return is 0 means compare has actually passed. See, understand, this is where things are little opposite. If the comparison returns 0 means comparison has passed. If it returns a non-zero means comparison has actually failed. Non-zero means what? Comparison has failed. So how the compare happens is compare starts from the leftmost character in the string. If their comparison mismatches, the ASCII value difference is the output. If the first leftmost character matches, then go to the next character to the string. Whenever mismatch happens, exit. So let us take one example to understand how it works. So string compare dot sv module top in module string name 1 name 2 int out. Okay, you write initial begin end, you write name 1 equal to Verilog, name 2 equal to Verilog, something like that I gave. Okay, now I am doing what? Out equal to name 1 dot name 1 compare name 2, right? This is how it should be. Now dollar display out equal to percentage percentage B I will type first, percentage D also I'll print because I just want to see decimal and binary print. Go here, compare. My expectation is that it should give me an indication that 6th position is mismatching. That is what I'm trying to see. Does it give me that? It is giving me 3. 1 1. How did it figure out?
I think, sir, they are subtracting two ASCII values, getting the result.
Yes, the comparison prints the difference in the result, difference in the ASCII values. See, one comparison happens, one comparison has failed. Wherever comparison has failed, wherever compare failed, it prints the difference in those characters, difference in those ASCII values.
Do one thing, compare name 2 with name 1. I think -3 will.
I'll do. D is what? Position 4, right? G is what? Position how much? E, D, E, F, G. E, F, G.
At most side, so you will be 0, sir.
Yeah. So let us see. Let us do one thing. Let's try other one also. Example case 2, where both of them are same. We will try all the possibilities. Y5, paste it. This you change it to G and run it. It is printing 0. Okay. I think printing as binary or printing as decimal has no meaning. I mean, binary has no meaning because it's essentially always printing an integer. And what it is doing is wherever the first character mismatches, it doesn't tell you the where mismatch is happening. See, it is leaving it to the user to figure out position, but it tells you wherever it mismatch happens, what is the difference in between them. Let's try other combination the way Tamal has suggested. Y5, case 3. Let's do name 2 dot compare name 1. And binary anyway we don't want because binary is not adding any value to us. Better to print as decimal only. Yeah, it is giving -3, right? So now if I go and do some change here, where if I change it to yes, VU, right? Let's say TUV -1 I'm expecting basically, or 1 in this case. U is ahead of V, U is after V. Let's see what comes. So it gives you -1, but the only problem is it doesn't tell the position where it mismatched, but it tells you the compare starts from the leftmost character in the string. If their comparison mismatch, the ASCII value difference is the output. ASCII value wise difference is the output. The only problem with this is if first leftmost character matches, then go to the next character to the right. Where whenever mismatch happens, it exits. It doesn't do any further comparison. Only problem with string comparison is what? Can you tell me? Only issue is, only drawback I will say. Can someone tell me what is the only drawback?
Only the difference, not the position where it is.
Position of the mismatch. Doesn't tell the position of the mismatch. It only tells how much mismatch is there, but it doesn't tell the position of the mismatch. Now I'm sure you understand I compare also. I compare will ignore the case. You see, in I compare what happens is, I'll take the same example. Y4, case 5. Even if I write, let's say I wrote Verilog like this. Now this should mismatch actually. Now this should mismatch because I'm using compare. My out should give me the difference between V and capital V in terms of ASCII value. See, 32 is the difference between them. Whereas if I use the same thing with I compare, it should pass because it should ignore the case V and E. It should take lower case. I mean, it should give 0. So that is about compare and I compare and all the methods of string. Any questions with the string methods? Again, I want to tell you that please don't think that I'm repeating many times. Please do not give lot of importance to string. Just get a top level feel of what it does. There are a lot more important things to learn because probably you won't be using many of these methods anytime during your projects also. But just have a feel that okay, string has length, string has a put character method, get character method, to upper, to lower, compare, this kind of methods. That would be sufficient. One of the commonly used method related to string is the concept of $s format and $s format f. We have already talked about this $s format and s format f in previous session. Let's quickly revise that now. $s format f is used to create variable named strings based on the index value. We have a requirement. Let's say we have a requirement to give names to each environment. As the number of environment changes, it is difficult to keep adding and deleting the lines. So my requirement is I have a test bench with variable number of environments. So it is possible, right? I can have variable number of agents, let's say, or sub environments. And each sub environment should have unique name. See, let's say there are 3 children in a house, all 3 of them cannot have the same name, right? They need to have a different name. Same way, my test bench has multiple sub environment. Each sub environment should have a unique name. So let's say I want to give for sub environment 0, I want to give the name as sub env 0. For sub environment 1, I want to give the name as sub env 1. Like that, so on I want to do. Now, let's say if tomorrow someone tells that I have 10 sub environments, the name should be from sub env 0 to sub env 9. If there are 50 sub environment, it should be sub environment 0 to sub environment 49. This is how it should be. In this case, how do we give this kind of variable names? So for that, the solution for that is $s format f. So s format f dot sv. Let's do that example. Module top, end module.
Use an array of string.
Initial, begin, end. We can try all the possibilities. First is you can give an array of strings itself, or we can directly start printing here itself. We write a for loop, int I equal to 0, whatever is the sub environment number. Let's say parameter I'll keep num environments. How many environments do you want? Let's say 10 environments I want. So you can give I less than or less than num environments. I plus plus begin end. In this case, what I'm going to do is, there are again many ways to do string name. You write, you assign name equal to, I told you, right? I can use $s format as a function. In this case, I'm using as a function. So I can write sub env. You need to figure out how you want to give the name. You want to give a name without any space in between. See, without any space in between. So you write %0d directly here. Then you write I. So what it does is, it will take this and it will replace this %0d with I. And that whole string it will assign it to name. Then we can display the name, $display name. Name equal to %, yes, name. So if I run this example,
line number 3 semicolon,
$s format f name, it should be semicolon. See, I got name of environment 0 is sub-environment 0, sub-environment 1 up to sub-environment 9. Let's say now I change this to 30. My environments is 30. So the point is I don't have to manually give the names, sub env0, sub env1, like that. I don't have to manually give. It automatically generates the required pattern for me. That is where this concept is very good for generating the strings as per my requirements. Now, if you ask me, is this the only way to do? No, it can be done in many other ways. So the other ways can be, I can use the same code. I can directly write
so
here
you can
itself.
use a concatenation operator here, sir, also, instead of giving the function.
You can't use concatenation operator because it will replace I with I only.
Okay. Format will not work. Yeah.
Format will not work here. I. See, this can also be done. In that case, I don't need this. See, here itself you can do it, but it's unnecessarily complicating the things. So hence we don't do. See, instead of writing 2 lines, essentially what you are doing, you are assigning name equal to this one. What I'm telling, you replace name itself with this whole thing. That can also be. See, again, you will get the same output. Okay. This is useful when your test bench has multiple environments and that number of environments is varying. In that case, you need to give the names based on the specific index values, right? In those cases, you can use $s format f. And I have already told you how to use $s format also. In that case, you should remove name here and you should keep name as the first argument. That whole thing we have already discussed. So system Verilog provides $s format or $s format f, which can create a dynamic string based on the index. $s format used as a task, $s format f is used as a function, and we have already done this example. This is useful when we create an array of components and need to give specific names, unique names to them. Names are varying based on the index value, and we have already done this example. So this is one of the commonly used string specific task and function. Okay. Next, let's say we want to reverse a string code. One example let's do. See, so far we have done few things like string insert, we have done string delete, we have done delete a character, we have done, which is not provided by SV language, but we did this thing. Let us say we want to reverse a string. Is it possible? String reverse. First thing you should try to do is you call the method reverse itself. Module top, end module, you write string name, initial, begin, end. You write name equal to, let's say, Verilog, and let's say name one equal to name dot reverse. See, it may not be there. It won't be there because we have already studied all the string methods, and the string methods didn't have the list reverse, right? But I'm still trying. My assumption is that the what if QuestaSim simulator is supporting it. Simulator has implemented it. I'm just checking that possibility, because sometimes what simulator people do is they implement things which are not even part of the this thing also, the user manual also, because the reverse can be a common thing in strings, right? You may want to reverse the string, So if they implement that additional features, there is nothing wrong. So they may have done it. So with that assumption, I am just checking string reverse. If it doesn't work, then we have to go through some other mechanism. So that field method name reverse is not there. If you can see here, the field method reverse is not there in the name. If it is not there, what you have to do in that case? You have to go manually. You can't do this way. So how to reverse it?
For loop and print in reverse order, sir.
For loop and print in reverse order. So what do you think I can do? For int I equal to 0, I less than name dot len. Okay, I plus plus. What should I do? Name one dot put character. I can do put character. Yeah. Name one dot put character.
Length minus I.
Wait. I'm telling length minus I.
So
No,
name plus length, yeah.
name dot length minus 1 minus I.
Yeah.
I have to get the character. First get the character. Byte. You declare a byte here. Byte C. Character C is equal to name dot get character. I have to get at index I. So that you have to say C here. Then let's display $display name 1 equal to %s name 1. Let's check once. It didn't give anything. Okay, it is because to put the character, there is nothing in the name 1 is empty. See, by default, when you just declared name 1 is empty, and in that empty character you are trying to replace something. Put character will do what? Replace. Since it is empty, that replacement won't work. Are you getting the point? What you're trying to do is you got the character, and that character you're trying to put it into non-existing space. You're trying to put it into a non-existent space. So that's where it's failing. So what I will do is, to solve this problem, I'll write name 1 equal to name. Just initialize it. Initialize it with some default value, some value, so that it has got memory is there, so that you can replace it. Now you run it. Yeah, it replaced it. So what I'm trying to, what is that I'm using logic to reverse is, you can use any name, XYZ you can use. Let's say someone is asking, in place of C, can we use any other byte name? Yes, you can use C, don't have any special meaning in this case. You can use XYZ, you can use XYZ. Because the simulator don't have any special meaning for this. Okay, so here I should use XYZ. It works. Okay, so I will just for our convenience, we'll keep C only. Okay. What are we trying to do is, by doing this, I'm telling that when the index is 0, can you tell me what will be this value? See, Verilog character length is 7. Length is 7, right? Number of characters is 7. We are telling that put it in which index position?
At
6 position. When I is equal to 1, we are trying to put in which position?
5
position. When I equal to 2, we are putting in 4th position, so on. So that is what essentially reversal means, right? See, the index 0th element should go to the 6th position. 6th element should come to the 0th position. First element should go to the fifth position. Fifth element should come to the first position. That is what this will do. Length minus 1. See, always understand the concept of minus 1. That is important. And minus I. That is how we can do the reversal. Okay. So please do it yourself. Now the thing is, it should work. Even if I use system Verilog, it should work. Then it is fine, right? It should not be like it's only coded for 7 characters. Even if I use system Verilog, it works. See, system Verilog. So that is about string reversal. I have explained the same thing here. The important thing is what? To initialize, making sure that name one has same number of characters as the name. Only then replacement reversal will work. So this, if you don't do it, then this reversal won't work. Next. So with this, we complete the string data type. Now we'll start with the next data type, arrays. We have already discussed the basic concepts of arrays. So whatever I'm going to talk will be a quick revision of that. What is arrays? It is a homogeneous collection of the elements. Homogeneous means what? Same data type variables. For example, what is not homogeneous? Mailbox is an example of non-homogeneous data type. So what is non-homogeneous? If you take mailbox .sv module top and module, I write mailbox mbox. It is actually possible to put any kind of data into the mailbox. See, mbox equal to new. I did. I can put mbox dot put 10. I can put Verilog. I can put anything for that matter. 3tick B110. Okay. So this is non-homogeneous. Now, what is the guarantee that it works? Get. Okay. Now I want to get a first what? Integer. Int a string name. Bit reg bit 2 down to 0 bit vector. So since I know the order, so I need to get in the same order. You can't reverse it. A equal to, sorry, it's a task, right? Get is a task. So mbox dot get a, mbox dot get name, mbox dot get bit vector. This works. Now I can do $display a equal to %0d, because I know that it's an integer, name is a string. Even string can be printed with %0d, it will still print it as a string only. Bit vector is %b bit vector.
It will print string or ASCII value, sir? If we give percent,
it will print string. I replaced it with mailbox and we are running it now. See, for every example I'm doing this, for every topic I'm doing these examples, because I want to you also to do the same thing. See, it is very easy to say mailbox, okay, put method is there, get method is there, but only when you start doing, you will start feeling that difficulty. You will sometimes you will end up using like this. Many of you might do this. Only with the practice you will come to know what is the right way to use, how you can instantiate mailbox. Sometimes you may miss this line. Unless you practice this, you won't be able to notice that kind of things. So for every example you do, I'm also making sure that for every topic I'm trying to do an example. The same thing you do from your side as well, and that is what is intent of the lab session. So I'm sure the trainer will focus on all those things in the lab session, but you also put that additional effort to do these things from your side. You can see here we have put 10, we have got Verilog, we have put bit vector. The same thing is not possible in arrays, because arrays cannot store integers and strings and like that. It need to be homogeneous, where you can put the same data type of variables. Next, arrays are non-singular. What do we mean by non-singular? Can someone tell me what is meant by non-singular? If that represents only one element, one value, that is singular. Int a is singular variable. When I declare int a is a singular variable, because since it represents only one value. Whereas if I represent int a 4 down to 0, it is non-singular. Why is it non-singular? Because it represents a collection of the 5 elements. Next, why arrays are important? See, it is easy to handle multiple data variables as a single entity rather than as multiple entries. See, let's say I have multiple data variables are there. Int a0, a1, a2, a3, a4. Instead of declaring them as 5 different data variables, it is easy for me to declare it as int a of 4 down to 0. So one element represents all 5 integers. So it's more easy to represent like this rather than declaring them as individual elements. So what is the benefit? We can access individual elements by using the index. Let's say I want to refer to the a2, I can write int a of 2 in the square brackets. I hope you all understood. Next, arrays can't be assigned a value as a whole. See, you should not do int a equal to 10. This is wrong, because int a represents multiple elements that you are trying to assign with only one value, so it doesn't understand how to do that. Whereas by using a specific index, you can do it. Int a of 3 equal to 10. It is correct. Always access array elements by index. Next, arrays can be classified in two ways. A classification based on how the memory is allocated, classification based on when the memory is allocated. So we will talk about that. But before that, I want to remind you that we have already discussed about all these examples related to arrays, how to declare an array, how to initialize the arrays, how to compare the arrays, all those things. Please let me know if you have any questions with those things before we move on to the next topics, that is how the arrays are classified. Okay. Next, first let us start off with one type of classification, that is based on array classification based on how memory is allocated, based on the memory allocation. Those two categories are packed arrays classification based on how memory is allocated. See, how is important here. Next classification is when memory is allocated. So this classification is two types. One is packed arrays, one is unpacked arrays. Let us talk about packed arrays and unpacked arrays. Packed arrays are exactly similar to vectors in Verilog. Unpacked arrays are arrays in Verilog. No difference. If you all understand what is vector in Verilog, what is arrays in Verilog, you are exactly studying the same concept. Absolutely no difference at all. It's just that they have put the same name in different style. They have put the same name in different style. Okay. Packed array, it is Verilog, vector in Verilog. Memory is allocated in single address location for the complete array. Dimensions of array declared before the array name. Now the data type can only be bit, reg, or logic. I can declare like this: logic 3 down to 0 a. This is a packed array because the whole a is stored into single memory location only. This is not possible. It is not possible. Why is it not possible? It is difficult to imagine 4 integers in the same address location. I mean, storing 4 integers into the same address location is not possible, right? We can't even think, how can you store 4 integer values into the same location? So analogy is like what? Making 4 people sit in the same chair, which is not possible. So something like that. So this is like person and you are making 4 people sit in the same position. What about this? Is this possible? Byte 3 down to 0b?
No, sir. Byte is by default 8 bits, sir. No,
8
not
bits. So
possible.
it is not possible. What about this? Is it possible? Bit 3 down to 0c?
Possible, sir.
It is possible. So guidelines are same as vector guidelines in Verilog. See, whatever you remember related to the vectors in Verilog, the same guidelines apply for packed arrays also, because both of them are same. Now let us go to the next one, unpacked array. That is what we call as array in Verilog. In unpacked arrays, memory is allocated into multiple address locations. The number of locations is the size of the array. Whatever is the size of the array, that becomes the number of locations for you. Each location size is array data type size, and the dimensions of array declared after the array name. Whatever is the dimensions of array, it need to be declared after the array name, and no restrictions on the data type. We can use any system Verilog data type. For example, I can declare logic a 3 down to 0. How many locations will be used for storing this array?
4 locations, sir. 1
4
bit.
locations. And each location storing only one bit actually. Each location storing only one bit, because basic data type is logic, so it will be storing only 1 bit in each location. Like that, we'll be consuming 4 locations. Is this possible int a 3 down to 0?
Yeah, sir. 32 bit each, 4 locations.
Yeah, basically 4 locations are used, each location storing 32 bits. This is also possible. Next, the next classification is based on when the memory is allocated. And when memory is allocated, there are 2 types. One is, they are called as static arrays. One is dynamic arrays. Static arrays are also called as fixed size arrays. For fixed size arrays, memory is allocated at compile time. Size is fixed throughout the simulation. Since it is fixed throughout the simulation, the memory size can't be increased, can't be decreased. And it needs to be declared with fixed integer number for array size in declaration. See, it needs to be declared with fixed integer number for array size in declaration. So you need to write always int array 9 down to 0. So in that case, what is the size of this array? 10. It can be both packed and unpacked array. I mean, the fixed size memories can be both packed and unpacked. It can be multi-dimensional array also. We have already discussed about what is multi-dimensional array in the previous session. User has to take in worst case possibility to declare the array size of the array. Let's say, I will give you one example, analogy. Let's say training room is created. We are doing a training and we are creating a training room. A batch size can be anywhere from 10 to 50 students. So how many chairs I have to always keep? Chairs array 49 down to 0. So this is if you go with the fixed array declaration. Same thing if I do dynamic array, I won't give any size. As the number of people come, as the batch size decides, I will give new of that batch size. Let's say 25 people are there, I will say new of 25. If I need 40 people, new of 40 I will do. Like that I can decide. So that will be the benefit of dynamic arrays. Whereas in fixed size arrays, you always have to take into the consideration the worst case possibility. The worst case possibility is whatever is the biggest number that is possible. That is one problem with the static arrays. Next, what is dynamic array? In dynamic array, memory is not allocated at compile time. Understand, memory is not allocated at compile time. Whereas for this, at the compile time itself, my tool allocates enough space for 10 integers. When it coming back to the dynamic array, memory is not allocated at compile time. Memory is allocated at runtime by using new. You have to use the new. Queue and associative array are the exceptions which does not require new. These are the exception which does not require new. Dynamic array also can work without new by doing array assignment. See, even in dynamic array also there is exception. See, with respect to new, you will see many exceptions. Those things you just have to make a note. Where all we don't need to use new. A size of the memory can be increased or can be decreased or can be deleted at the runtime. Size is not declared as part of the array declaration. Dynamic arrays can only be unpacked type. The dimension of dynamic arrays can only be in the unpacked side. It cannot be packed. So is it possible? Can you tell me? Is it in packed dimension or unpacked dimension?
Packed, sir. Packed. Not possible.
Packed.
Packed. So it is not possible. What about this? Is this possible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It is possible.
Unpacked.
This one is possible. What about this? Is this possible?
No, sir.
Not possible.
It is
Packed.
not possible because again you have declared it in the packet
Packed.
dimension. And now dynamic arrays can be multi-dimensional arrays. So you can have multi-dimensional dynamic arrays. See, how many dimensions are there for dynamic array here?
Sir. Row and column.
And what are the examples of dynamic arrays? See, dynamic array itself is a example of dynamic array. Associative array, Q. These are all examples of the dynamic arrays.
For multi-dimensional array, while doing new, sir, 2 dimension you should give, I think, sir.
You need to do new in 2 levels actually.
Yeah, new like 2 square braces like this. Sir.
And that is also possible. So yeah, new can be done in 2-dimensional. That we'll discuss. We'll take that example in the next session.
Okay, okay, sir.
So would everyone like to continue or stop the session?
No, sir, continue. We can.
No, I'm asking about other people.
Yes, yes, sir. We can take tomorrow.
We will stop the session. In the next session, when we meet, we'll continue with the individual types. I mean, we'll go in deep into packed arrays. We'll go deep into unpacked arrays, and we'll talk about static arrays and dynamic array examples. Okay. So any questions before we end the session?